Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Expressed Opinion After Dark with your girl, Lynn Roberts. Today, my guest is Attorney Joseph Ervin, who is also a member of the Cloth, and we're going to be talking about is the church still relevant today? So kick back, relax, get you a nice glass of wine, and enjoy the adult conversation. All right, Joseph, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you coming in here to spend this time with me today. So, I want to talk about several things because by you being an attorney, I got some lawyer questions. And then by you being a
Okay,
man of the cloth, I have some man of the cloth questions.
go
Okay.
for it.
Okay. So, first up, we're going to get the man of the cloth stuff out the way. We're going to
Okay,
we're going to talk about church.
church.
We're going to talk about church. Okay. So, as I stated, what do you think is the issue with church in today's society? Do you think that that church is still relevant today?
The church is relevant.
Okay.
And let me narrow it down to the black church.
All right. There you go.
The black church is relevant, but
Okay.
we are losing our young people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're losing our young people simply because there's a disconnect between the old heads in the church
Mm-hmm.
and the young people in the church.
Uh-huh.
And that problem is just growing and growing and growing.
Uh-huh.
Now, I pastored for 3 years.
Okay.
And during that 3 year period of time I pastored, I had a chance to see some things from another point of view.
Okay.
And one of the things I saw was not just at the church where I pastored, but among
Uh-huh.
other smaller churches,
Okay.
there was this sense of you had to fit in.
Uh-huh.
And the church's business model is the only business model I know that says, we are what we are, and you got to accept us the way we are.
Mm.
There's not this thought process of going out
Mm-hmm.
into the community to
Mm-hmm.
meet people.
Uh-huh.
It's this come on in, you either do what we do,
Mm-hmm.
dress the way we dress, act the
Mm-hmm.
way we want you to
Yeah.
act, or else.
Yeah. Because a lot of times it's you got to dress a certain way, even though it says in the word, "Come as you are."
Exactly.
But it's like, oh, you came in here looking like that? Like, if this says come as you are, this is how I am. So,
Exactly.
so I get that. So let me ask you this because I did a little, I did a little research.
Go ahead, do your thing.
And, and so it says that according to the 2024 statistics, okay, church attendance in the US has declined by like pretty much by 40. It says like only 47% of Americans belong to a house of worship now.
Not surprised.
And a lot of some of them are saying it's because of the hypocrisy
That's exactly.
of the believers and scandals with the pastors.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, how, how do you feel about that? Or what do you say about that?
Well, it's true. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story.
Okay.
There was this one minister
Okay.
who would get up,
Uh-huh.
and the first thing would come out of this minister's mouth was, and the homosexuals, and the gay agenda,
Oh,
and the this one,
Lord.
and the lesbian, and the gay man, and it would just go, and the homongers. It would just go on and on and on, and it turned me off.
Uh-huh.
And I ain't gay, I ain't no homosexual, I
Uh,
ain't lit.
yeah.
It turned me off because it wasn't a message of love.
Uh-huh.
It was a message of being judging.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to. If you
Th-
go into church, you're looking for something.
Exactly.
You either got a problem that you don't know how to handle, or you got a situation that you feel like maybe God can help me handle.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to go to church and be told you all these bad things or you going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the saddest things in our churches, I remember there was a preacher that would preach, he would say about tithing.
Yeah.
And he would say, if you don't tithe, your blood won't be on my hands, you're cursed with a curse. And I asked him one day, I said, look, what about the single mother
Mm-hmm.
who has to make a decision if her tire goes flat, her
Mhm.
battery dies. She
Mhm.
has to make a decision between tithing or having a car to go to work. And she makes a decision, I'm going to put this money in my car so I can go to work, so I can feed
Exactly.
my family. Are you telling me that when things start to go wrong with her, she's cursed?
Exactly.
That's what's turning young people off the
What was
church.
his response when you asked? That's that. I would love to know what was his
His
response when you.
response was, I'm preaching the word. But if you really preached the word and got into
Exactly.
the word, you would see that the tithe, every 7 years, you don't tithe.
Mhm.
And I would teach people that you can tithe with your time,
Exactly.
your talents.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily about money,
Exactly.
it's about the sacrifice. But that's not being taught in our churches. It is almost like it's this dogmatic, dictatorial thing that, you know, and the same thing with dress codes.
Mhm.
You know, you and I both know some of these sweaters and some of these jeans and some of
Uh-huh.
them kicks cost more than a suit.
Exactly.
And they're coming as they are.
Mhm.
And
That's what they're
so,
comfortable in.
yeah,
So, and if you're going to a house of worship, you should be comfortable when you're worshiping.
that's it.
Nobody, because you got, especially these young kids these days, they don't want to be all tightened up in a suit and barely can move. And especially that's not something they're used to wearing.
Exactly. And I don't like wearing a tie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I hate that. I do that every day. I hate
uh,
that.
well, let me add because I'm gonna tell you, like, okay, so back in the day, there was a church in our area. I'll put it like this: a very well-known church.
Mhm.
I used to attend faithfully, right? And it became one point in time when I had lost my job and I went to the church for help.
Mm.
And what the church told me was I couldn't talk to the pastor because it was like you had to go through several people before
Mm.
you could even get to the pastor.
Mhm.
But they told me that because I was like, I said, well, I really need help. I'm trying to get my light, I think it was my light bill. I was just trying to get my light bill paid because like I said, I had lost my job and I had been out of work for a few months. So I was like, and I was always taught, growing up, when I was growing up younger in the church, when you needed help and you needed assistance, you go to the church.
Mhm.
Went to the church, asked the church for assistance. They told me they don't do that.
You didn't have to fill out no forms.
No, they just oh wow, really? They flat out told me that they didn't do that, right? So I was like, being me, I went and wrote them, I did a nice little letter
Mhm.
and I sent it in, and I guess the pastor got a hold of the letter. Cause next thing I know, I got a phone call. Because I was like, if you're not here to serve your community, when your community helps to serve you and paying tithes, this is some of the gist of what I had put in the letter. I said, what is the purpose of the church?
Mhm.
And I think once I did that, when I did that, that's when the phone call came. And I got, well, we'll help you, what do you need and all that. Okay. I had to go through all the, but the fact that I had to go through all of that to get the church who was supposed to be there for the community outreach. I
Mhm.
had to go through all of that just for you to assist. And that in itself right there kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. And
Yes, it
so,
did.
and then with since we're on like big churches, let's talk about how some of these big churches operate. Because because you have some of these churches, just like I said, especially the ones that like have televised service, and it's like they have certain people sitting in the front.
Mhm.
They don't want you chewing gum.
No.
Oh yeah,
Oh Lord.
I've been in one where it's like, oh well, if you're chewing gum, can you please?
No.
Oh yeah.
They would have put me out a long time ago.
Move to the back, or the kids, if you got a baby crying, they don't want the baby crying.
I heard that one.
Yeah, and to take the kids, and the kids got to exit,
Mhm.
and go into another room
I heard
and
that one.
stuff. And I mean, I was used to growing up, everybody, Eladi Dottie, and everybody was
That's
in the
right.
congregation. The kids, whether they crying or not, if the kids was crying, people had common sense enough to get up, step out with the child,
True.
and to calm the child down and then come back in. But what is your take on some of these mega churches, and then with these mega churches, a lot of the controversy that comes with these churches?
I think you have to look at the individual church. One of my favorite churches is Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, Dr.
Mhm.
Marcus Cosby.
Mhm.
When I'm not in service, I'm watching him.
Mhm.
We have to remember not to let the pastor be Jesus. See, a lot of
Can I get an
times,
amen, Lord be an and a hallelujah?
a lot of
I'm gonna have
times,
to look.
you gotta have a good, a lot of times it's
Mm.
this cult of personality.
Uh-huh.
If Rev Flip Flop ain't there, I ain't showing up on
Okay.
Sunday.
Okay.
And if Rev Flip Flop leave, I'm leaving too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it used to be back in my day when I grew up, you ask a person what church do you attend, they say, well, I attend Second Baptist Church or First Baptist Church.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now you ask people what church you attend. Oh, I'm at Bishop Flip Flop and Do Flachi.
Uh-huh.
They always tell you the name of the pastor, but not the name of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, part of the thing is that cult of personality. When you focus on me, because I know I ain't.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, if you look at me, I'm a bishop, but I'm like Peter.
Mm-mm.
You push me the wrong way, I'm about to take the church collar off.
Okay.
I'm going back to 2141 East Bowling Street on the dirt road, and I'm gonna let you have it.
Okay.
And I think part of the problem is
Mm-hmm.
preachers have set themselves up to be
On being,
perfect on a
yeah, on
pedestal.
pedestal,
Like,
yeah.
I don't do this. I went to a pastor's conference one time, and this goes to what's about a large church, very large church.
Mm-hmm.
And the pastor got up and he said, "How many of you preachers in here still curse?" Everybody looking around the room.
Just to
You
see,
know me.
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm the house of the Lord. I do. And so he looks at me and he says, "I've been cured of cursing." And one by one, other preachers started raising their hand. And so I instinctively said to myself, if somebody walk up and slap the taste out your mouth, you ain't gonna say, "God bless you.
uh,
God shine his countenance upon you." You gonna be, And so we have lost the focus
uh-huh.
of why we're going to church.
Exactly.
We go to church to worship God, not to worship the man.
Exactly.
And so part of the problem with churches, our churches, is that, and you hit something else. The other problem is there's this disconnect. You pay your tithes, you pay your offering. You should be able to go to your church if you lost your job. Now, I'm not saying everybody off the street,
Mm-hmm.
but if you are a faithful member,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't have to go through it. And I had one person tell me they had to fill out a form at the church. Who had to fill out a form.
What?
They had to put an estimate of how much tithes they paid, how much
You have
offering they
got
had
to be
given.
kidding me.
And she said, I left that church. I
I
said, I
don't
don't
blame
blame
her.
you. I'm like, who would want to know that information? Where do you work? How did you lose your job? When did you lose your job? When do you expect to go back? It was almost as if it was a structured loan
No,
from,
no, wait a minute, because you sound like you're trying to apply for food stamps or Medicaid or
and
something.
that's the way it came across. And that was a black church. And I'm saying, part three, we've lost our ability to connect with our community. We're no longer that beacon that says, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the first thing you see when you walk up on a young person and that person smell like weed? Most church folks go,
Mm-hmm.
or as the people say, they clutch their pearls.
Yeah.
They doing something to walk in the opposite direction of that person, and they're not telling that person, I've been there.
Uh-huh.
But tell them, we all got our sins. Some of us, you see them, some of them you don't.
Exactly.
I mean, to the Christian that's got diabetes, if you sit there eating 2 or 3 donuts,
Yeah.
that's a sin.
Exactly.
It's no different from this person that you call the homemonger. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. So I think that the black church is at a crossroads because either you are called or you called yourself.
Exactly. And you got a
And
lot of them.
a lot of
It's
people
it's a
call
lot of
themselves.
people that call themselves. The
Yeah.
Lord didn't. I understand from what I said. The Lord didn't call. The Lord don't even have your phone. The Lord know a lot, but the Lord don't even have your phone number. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
I don't know what Lord you said called you, but it wasn't the Lord that I know.
There you go.
So I get it. I mean, I even went to a church This was years ago. I don't know if they still do it because I haven't been there in, like I said, years. They would pass out. I wasn't a member, but I had started going because I had thought about becoming a member. So I was just going visiting. And I would pay tithes and stuff even while I was visiting, I would pay tithes and stuff. And so, you fill out the tithe envelope with your name and stuff on there and stuff. Cause I had been going for maybe a few months. Next thing I know, I went there one Sunday and they had a sheet that they passed around with everyone's name on it and the amount of tithes that they have paid.
I've seen that.
And I'm sitting up here, I'm like, okay, this supposed to be between me and Jesus. Why everybody else in here got to know what I'm doing?
I've seen that.
That's crazy to me.
And why we got to walk down front to put our offering in?
Exactly.
We supposed to be got none, just open your hand. I went to this white church, Compassion Church,
I know what you're talking about.
and it was offering time. You know how black
Yeah.
people do. Oh, shall a man rob God? How have you robbed? I got there, it was offering time. I about jumped out my seat when the plate came by because they didn't do all that. They said, it's giving time. I was like, what? Oh, it's the offering. Oh, got you. Because they handled it completely different. And maybe some might argue they have more money than we do. But my thing is this: we have to go back and connect. Most of our churches are in neighborhoods where we don't live at anymore. Pookie them live over there.
Yeah.
And so we have to go back to knocking on the doors and saying, hey, come on over.
I don't know about knocking on the doors though.
Well, maybe Pookie don't want to come. But you got to have the barbecue. No. We come out.
Yeah, you said they got food. They'll
come down.
Yeah, they'll show up for that.
You got to have something to get the community involved. You just can't sit on that little corner of the hill and decide, I'm just going to be here. You got to be there for them. You got to have the clothes bank, the food bank. You got to be there for them, And just because they don't look like you, don't worry about that. Like you said, come as you are. God loves the sinner.
Yeah.
Don't like the sin, but he loves the sinner.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to a point in the black church we forgot that. And we forgot to connect with our community. What I find to be real sad when I look at Savannah, we have so much poverty in this town, yet on every corner you practically see a church. So my question becomes, with all of these churches that we have, why can't they combine and form a credit union?
Oh my God.
Why can't they come together?
Hold on.
You gotta take a sip. Why can't they come together and say, we will collectively pool our money, let's buy some land. You see this
You about to make me drink a whole bottle. Stop it. Go ahead.
This big kerfluffle about the Weeping Time land.
Yeah.
How many black churches, if you go down from 52nd Street on MLK down to maybe Broughton Street, a little beyond that, you've got about 42 churches from there going over to Montgomery Street.
Yeah.
And you mean tell me those 42 churches don't take an offering of at least $1,000 every Sunday? So that's $42,000 times 4. Okay, so at the end of the year, that's almost $2 million. You mean tell me we can't buy an apartment complex with that?
I think it's like, because to be honest, I think a lot of churches low key compete against each other. I do. Because it's like you got this big church over here. Yeah, we're doing this and we got this going on. And then you got this church over here and we're doing this and we got this going on. And then you got the pastors. Oh, I'm riding. I'm in a Mercedes. This one, they over here, I got this nice Beamer or this Lexus and stuff. Okay, but what does your congregation have?
Yeah. You hitting the nail on the head. And I'm not saying people of God ought to not be prosperous, but I'm saying when the preacher drives a better car than everybody in the congregation,
that's the problem.
Hey, Pastor, what's going on over here? If you have tapped into some level of prosperity or whatever it is you're doing, Why don't you teach financial responsibility
Billy.
to your people?
Yeah, right. Why not have a regular class? Like instead of on one Sunday, instead of having a Sunday service, have a financial service.
That's the point. Why not have financial service? Why not have a moment where you discuss health? Why not have you can build a gym at the church?
Stocks. Have somebody come in there show people how to buy
Yes.
trade stocks.
We don't do that.
You know, I mean, and it's so easy. I mean, it is so easy for people that if they would just come together. But it's to me, they just have the mentality of we don't want them to be doing better than what we got going on over here.
And then you have to add in the other group. You got to add in those who have been at the church. I call them sister saints
Uh huh.
and deacon do-lots.
Uh huh.
Deacon do-lots sit around all the time, and deacon do-lots enjoy themselves, and they revel in the fact that I've been here all this time.
Uh huh.
And since I've been here all this time,
Yeah, I know, right?
since I've been here all this
Uh huh.
time, that's my seat.
Yeah.
I sit at this pew every Sunday.
Uh huh.
That's my thing. And because I sit at this seat every Sunday, that's my designated chair.
Uh huh.
And so those good deacons and those good sisters,
Deep. Go ahead.
they sit around and spend their time doing everything but what they're supposed to do.
Uh huh.
And that's the problem.
Mm.
And so when you look at our churches, the disconnect is this. I don't want to see no praise dancers coming into this church. That's secular. I don't want to hear no whether you like Kirk Franklin or not. I don't want to hear no Kirk Franklin in this church because that's secular. I don't want to hear. And the thing is, you have to meet the people where they are.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with our churches.
And then that's another thing, like with the gospel music today, because like a lot of gospel music, it's not traditional gospel music that people are used to listening to. So then it's like, oh, I don't want it. That's too much. That sounds too much like that music.
Yes.
So
they don't want that.
And then like the gospel rap. Oh no, they rapping.
They don't want that. And that turns the young people off. You know, I remember one time, I could tell this story, not because the man dead.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Y'all remember Bump?
Bump.
Piccolo.
Oh yeah.
Many years ago, I was a member of a holiness church as a child. Bump came there one night, drunk as a skunk. And the preacher was preaching. Now, in our new types of churches, typically, the preacher's going to tell somebody to escort you out the door if you're drunk. And we knew he was drunk. He was making the drunk people noise. And you know how Bump, hey, Bump. So, in the midst of this, the preacher kept preaching. Next thing you know, old Piccolo in the back done caught the Holy Ghost. He up there shouting around, dancing, clapping his hands, and was in church faithfully every Sunday. I'm saying that's the disconnect now. You come to church, you smell like weed, they won't put you out.
Yeah. I've gone to a church where a man came in off the street. I guess he heard the choir singing from off the street. So he came in from off the street, and I mean, because the choir was sounding good, and he came in off the street. I don't know, maybe the spirit hit him or whatever, and he was, dancing down the hall, down the walkway, and he was praising and stuff. And the ushers, I don't know, they came and escorted the man out. I was like, wow. It's like interesting. I was like, interesting. I'm like, okay,
I've seen that.
And I'm like, that's crazy.
That's the person you want to have in your church.
Exactly.
You know, that's the person you want to bring in. You know, the thing about the disconnect too is if you go back in history, the black church was there in the civil rights movement. Civil rights was neither popular with the majority of the citizens of this country, but they were there. Where is that church now?
Exactly.
I don't see that church anymore. I don't see that church that speaks truth to power. I don't see that church that says, in the great tradition of where we should be as a church, speaking to politicians and saying, you're wrong. You may have one or two, But the purpose of the black church is to speak out for the voiceless, is to
Mm-hmm.
speak out for those that don't have an opportunity to speak out.
Disenfranchised,
Yes.
yeah.
The black pastor in his traditional role and the role that he should play is the role of mediator and broker between his community and the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that establishment is white or black, it doesn't matter about the color
Mm-hmm.
because we can discriminate against our own selves
Which we do.
worse than they can do with us.
Exactly.
And so I'm saying that to say that, and I used to say this very jokingly, but I'm being very serious about it. All you got to do for some black preachers is say, hey, we're going to have some fried chicken or we're going to have some shrimp and grits. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call your name
Mm-hmm.
and I'm at your political campaign and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not asking the hard questions about politicians that should be asked.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving them that pass because
Exactly.
they've allowed us to be exalted or because
Now holding
whomever
no,
come by the church.
yeah, no
No,
accountability,
none.
none whatsoever.
I don't believe in politicians coming to my church. I'm gonna tell you
I
what.
was gonna ask you
Don't
about
come to
that.
me when you're running for office.
Exactly.
If I ain't seeing you the other 12 months, I don't want to see you on Sunday. And if you've not delivered for our people, don't come up here looking for my vote. You can sit down there like anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
and when they call for visitors, you can stand up. But you ain't coming here to say, I'm so and so, vote for me. No, I don't go along with that.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it then. I can't stand it now. I think that is the wrong application of our church, and I think part of that is what you started off with, the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
When I see you rubbing elbows with people, and I know that person ain't for me and ain't done nothing for me,
Mm-hmm. And you
hypocrisy.
know that they, for a fact,
You know it.
that they haven't done, and they speak disparagingly about you, but yet here you are.
Promoting them in the church. What does that look like? You know, here you are riding around in an expensive car, and you can't even speak to the person walking in front of the church.
That's the, you know what, and I think that's one of the things for me personally that has turned me off with the church is how you claim to be a man or a woman of God.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see a person on the street that is down on their luck and you look down upon them,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what that person's situation
You
is.
don't.
Because, like I say, a lot of people are a paycheck away from being homeless themselves.
That's true.
So you don't know what that person's circumstances is because they could have lost their job. And so now they can no longer afford to pay their rent or their mortgage or whatever.
Exactly.
And they don't have anyone that they can call on or depend on
Exactly.
to help them out. So now they're on the street, they're living in their car.
True.
You don't know what that person is going through. And that has been one of the things that I've always, it just always bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's like when I'm out and if I got extra cash or something and I see somebody, I go ahead and I mean, okay, I may need it, I may not need it. But if I see them and I see like the look on their face and stuff, cause some people they are prideful. You gotta understand a lot of homeless people are very prideful. It's not like they chose to be out there.
That's true.
Some of them do, but then again, there's some of them that don't want to be out there, but they have no choice right now. So you can't judge them on that.
And that's the problem. I remember a gay couple that would come to church, and I was asked, "Oh my God, they're gay." I'm like, "Okay,
And your point?
and don't they
Exactly.
need Jesus like everybody else?" And if you view being gay as being a sin, don't you think they really need to be in church? don't you really think that?
Exactly.
When I grew up in church, if a young lady got pregnant, they put her out.
Mm-hmm.
But now the guy got to stay. And I'm saying, wait a minute, whoa, whoa.
But
Don't
she
she
didn't
need
get
Jesus?
pregnant by herself.
Exactly.
He
So,
probably needed more than she do.
so they should both be okay. That's the disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, when you say, quoting from the scriptures, love thy neighbor as thyself, and you see people not engaging in that process of love,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't say love the straight but not the gay.
Yeah.
He didn't say love the light skinned black and not dark skinned black.
Exactly.
He didn't say don't love the person that doesn't tithe, but love the one that. He didn't make that differentiation between us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we as a black church have to go back
Mm-hmm.
to our basic roots of social justice,
Mm-hmm.
social empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
economic empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where it started.
Yeah.
The boycotts in Montgomery, Alabama. It started there. SCLC, it started with boycotting. And the thing about it is, whether a person likes the pastor at New Birth or not,
Mm-hmm.
you got to give him credit
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
organizing a boycott against Target. You
Mm-hmm.
got to give him that. I don't care what his personal faux pas may be
Mm-hmm.
or what he did in the past. Who doesn't have a past?
You got
But
that
you
right.
got to give Jamal credit
Mm-hmm.
for saying, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to make an affirmative statement to help my people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give credit for it because more often than not, most black pastors on that national level are so concerned with being politically correct
Correct. Yeah.
and wanting to appeal to all persons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing Jesus didn't do, he didn't appeal to everybody.
And nope, he sure didn't.
Folks were downright ticked off with that rascal.
Mm-hmm.
He said, how dare you come up here and go heal somebody on the Sabbath day? What's wrong with you, boy? And so
Mm-hmm.
we have to get back to that type of engagement
Mm-hmm.
to where we're not afraid
Exactly.
to speak truth to power.
People are so into this political correctness until it's like you're so politically correct that you're missing
Mm-hmm.
the point of what you're here for.
Exactly.
And because I don't know if you were, did you hear about the church in Hinesville where the church was taking
Oh, yeah. I
the
heard about
veterans
that.
money? And see, that's what I'm saying. See, things like that where this man, you done took all of this man's benefits and stuff. So now he's left out in the cold
Yeah.
because y'all done tricked this man into giving you all his benefits and stuff. And now, I mean, it's those things like that because
Mm-hmm.
just like the pastor, I know you know who I'm saying, when the pastor that wanted the plane.
Mm-hmm. We ain't calling no names.
Yeah. But it has to do with money. Anywho, but he wanted a he wanted a plane,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted the congregation to raise the money to get him a plane.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, dude, you got Delta, you got American, hell, you got Spirit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they take you where you want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that to me turns people off
It does.
from the church.
I agree. It's almost like if you think about Paul, Paul walked all over Asia in sandals.
Mhm.
Jesus walked around in sandals.
Mhm.
He didn't have no jet. He walked. You know, the donkey when he rode in one place, they say, and he said he sent his disciples to go get the donkey, and he told the people, I have use of this. Come here.
Okay.
And so we've moved from that,
Mhm.
and therein lies the problem. Um, when we go back to thinking of why we are a black church,
Mhm.
if you go way back and determine why we got here so we could worship. And I know I'm twisting history a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but when you really get down into it, the purpose was we couldn't worship with the other church.
But true, true.
And so we had to form our own church
Mhm.
to worship.
Exactly.
That became the African Methodist Church.
Mhm.
And so from that came Kojic, from that and all the offshoots. But we could not worship in the
Mhm.
same places. We were separated. And so when we go back and look at where we came from, we have forgotten.
And it used to be a time if you had someone you remember the church, they had a family member pass away and stuff. The church members would come to that person's house and sit with them,
Mm-hmm.
take care of them, provide food and
Mm-hmm.
everything for that family. You don't get that anymore.
No, there's a
You
disconnect.
you don't get none of that anymore. Because I remember back when I was growing up and my grandfather passed away. And it's like my grandfather knew everybody and knew my grandfather because he was like the only town mechanic. So Everybody knew my granddaddy. But when they found out of his passing, it's family come, if they would come, food, everything, the church bringing food, members taking cake. They would even come clean up
I
your
remember
house
that.
for you,
Yes.
all kind of stuff. You didn't have to do anything, and you don't get that with the church anymore.
No.
Because
It's
it's like,
changed.
oh, they may send you a card.
It has changed. And it's sad that it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, on the opposite side of this, there's some good pastors out there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some that are really trying to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some who are inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
There are those who are preaching an inclusive gospel
Mm-hmm.
that say no matter who you are, come as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the sin. God will take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to develop the mindset of to support those pastors
Mm-hmm.
who are supporting us.
Yeah.
And we have to get away from those, I'm going to the biggest, the flashiest.
Mm.
Some of our smaller churches have just as good a service,
Mm-hmm.
if not better.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get that one-on-one with the
Hey,
pastor.
there you go. There you go.
See, I don't want to be
In a
going to the
mega church.
associate pastor or the assistant. I want to be able to reach out and, hey, Reb, I got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able.
Or you can call or pick up the phone and call her. Hey, I need to holler at you real quick.
That's what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that we have to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at our churches and I think about where we are today, um, I'm worried about our churches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
On any given Sunday, when you walk in the church, there are more female congregants than male.
Yes.
Okay.
Most assuredly.
And so it makes me concerned because those female congregants have little male kids. So where are the role models?
Yeah.
And some of them are single mothers, and I'm not knocking single mothers or single fatherhood, but where's the role model? I remember every deacon when I grew up, and they wore their ties, and they were upstanding, and they shook your hand, looked you in the eye. It taught me what it was to be a man.
Exactly.
Even the pastor and the way he conducted himself. So I'm saying that to say that we have to go back.
And it wasn't a problem with people in the church correcting your kids when your kids got out of line.
It wasn't.
Nowadays, don't talk to my child. You can't talk to me. And they want to sit up here and have a conniption if you say something to their child that your child is running all up and down the aisle and won't sit there behind still. And you're not disciplining them and making them sit still. But you got a problem if somebody else in the church tells your child to sit down.
True.
So that's the other thing that you have to look at as well.
But doesn't that go back to community?
True.
Doesn't that go back to the way the church used to be the center of our community?
True.
And that you could say, there's deacon this, and there's sister this, and there's mother that. And you were able to see those people sitting on their porch. And when you would walk by them, you knew you had to straighten up.
Yep.
Because you couldn't go by their house looking and talking all kinds of
any
stuff.
kind of way.
You couldn't walk by cussing.
Exactly.
If they heard a cuss word, your mama got the call.
And she knew about it way before you even got home.
Because they're going to ask you, what you say in front of Sister So-and-so. But that's what's missing, that sense of community.
Yeah.
And our black church was the hub of
You're
community.
Right. You're so right.
That's why when you go and look where our older black churches are located, typically they're located in the hubs of our communities.
You're right.
Where we used to live before we went to the suburbs.
Yeah.
Which I'm guilty of.
Yeah.
But I got to say that.
We are. Yeah.
But I got to say that. So we have to go back to the grassroots. I said that again. We got to go back to where we started with this. Because if not, there's going to be a whole generation of young people.
I think it's already a generation of young people. I think we're already there with the young people.
There you go.
And it's just trying to find a way to get them re-engaged and to get them back to where, back to the beginning, how church used to be.
Exactly.
So all right. So I think I appreciate you talking about that. And like I said, you're wearing two hats tonight. So with the time that we have left, I need the Attorney Joseph Ervin now.
All right. My friends say that all the time. I don't want Bishop Joe. I want. Can I say the N word on?
Yeah.
I want nigga Joe.
Oh.
But anyway, go ahead. I had a friend always say, I want nigga Joe. I don't want Bishop Joe. You sound so preacherly.
So,
Anyway,
so Attorney Joseph Ervin,
yes.
I want to talk to you about an issue that also plagues our Black community. As far as in our Black community, we have people who are when they pass away, don't have their affairs in order. They don't have a will. They don't have a trust.
So this Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
But and you know, they have issues and stuff when it's time, but especially if they have a property. They have a property, the kids, they don't want the property. They don't know what to do with the property. And it has to go in probate. And a lot of people, when someone dies, they have no clue as to what they need to do when a property has to go into probate and the procedures of that. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that so we can try to get more awareness about that procedure and how that is done and what happens to the property if you know you don't take care of it, if the property, if it has a mortgage on it and the mortgage is not paid while the property is in probate.
Okay. I'm gonna start back with the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about estate planning.
Okay.
For some reason, our people don't want to talk about dying, and I get it. I don't want to think about dying either.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody in this room want to think about dying.
True.
But one
Hey,
day,
you got
just
it.
as long as you black, you gonna go.
Yep.
So you said you want the attorney side. Let me give you my free
Well,
legal
you can
advice.
get, look, you get, if you want to give a nigga Joe point of view, you do that too. But hey, just go ahead. Like,
Here's
look,
my free
it's
form.
after dark,
Because
so you
after
can,
I can be, I won't be.
yeah, okay,
Here's my free legal advice.
okay.
Let's start with this. If you own real estate
Mm-hmm.
and you know who you want to get that real estate, change the deed to where it says joint with the right to survivorship.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? When you die, it goes automatically whoever you want to go to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you have a mortgage on your property, just call the bank and make sure, because you are not changing ownership,
Mm-hmm.
but you're doing it joint with right to survive. So when you
Yeah.
go, it passes on. Now we're gonna get to the mortgage in a minute.
Okay.
Bank accounts,
Mm-hmm.
payable on death.
Yeah.
That way, when you go,
Mm-hmm.
or have a joint bank account, jointly
Mm-hmm.
held between you and somebody else. So when you go,
They
bam, it
still
goes
have
there.
exit. Yeah.
Guess what? You own a car, you can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Join on the title. So when you go, they go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that to say there are ways and vehicles that we can avoid the probate.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, let's talk about trust. You can form a trust. You
Mm-hmm.
can do what's called an irrevocable trust or a revocable trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so the trust itself will hold the real estate, and it passes through just the way you say it. It's almost like a will, but not quite a will.
Mm-hmm.
But it does handle matters to where you can possibly avoid probate.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I see in my probate practice is that you're getting heirs property.
Mm-hmm.
And because Big Mama and them said, this here go to you, this go to you,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when Mama and them died, y'all sitting around like, I ain't paying that property tax.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always one or two people paying all the property taxes. Everybody else back there just chilling out. Then when it's time to sell, everybody got something to say.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So probate with a mortgage on a property. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
A mortgage is a contract between you individually and the bank.
Correct.
So now when you die, that mortgage died with you.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, that mortgage becomes due when you die.
Okay.
So unless you got somebody strong that can refinance, all you can do is qualify to be the administrator of the estate or the executor of the estate and put that property for sale. Because otherwise, you're going to lose it. Now, let me say this. The terminology is executor and administrator. An administrator is when a person dies without a will.
Correct.
Executor is when you have a will.
Uh-huh.
I tell people this. If you don't take any advice in terms of how to title your property, have a will. Have a simple will. Because with a simple will, at least dictates your final wishes.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. You know, probate nowadays average is about $5,000,
Wow.
and that's not
And that's
included.
try to tell people probate. They think probate is not free.
No,
That's
probate
that
ain't
is
free.
not free.
It's not free. You have to advertise in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of things. You have to file your accounting. You know, there's a lot of things that go on with probate process, and so most people can't come up off $5,000 off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's important to pre-plan these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always been my advice to people: pre-plan, get your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
Right back to preaching for a second.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
But when it comes to the whole issue of probating estates,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it brings out the worst in people. And so that's another reason why I tell folks, have a will.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get your will, share it with everybody in the family so they can see this who getting what. Don't come up here later saying,
Exactly.
you promised me this, you promised me that. No, no. This here what I'm doing.
And give everybody a copy of it.
Of it.
So they'll know. And so when that day comes, it's no. I get.
I tell people, give them a copy, because if you put it in, if you give it to me, tell me to hold on to it, when you die, folk gonna be mad.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna say, "Oh, I know they didn't mean that." Give it to them now. They know you meant it.
And I've never understood why people do that, as far as like holding on to the will and not letting whomever know see the will. What is the purpose of doing that?
I ain't figured that one out yet either.
You know, because it's like, oh, you don't want them to know now, but you want them to know after you gone. So I guess so you don't get no backlash or something like that. So, but okay, so you talked about when they have to put the house up for sale with the mortgage and the administrator without a will, and this you're the executor with the will. So where do you come in, like as far as once say, okay, we go through the order of the steps. The person deceased.
Person dies.
Okay.
You have a will.
Mm-hmm.
You locate the will. You hire yourself an attorney to probate it.
Yeah.
You will probate it in solemn form. That's what we call it.
Okay.
You fill out the form. Everyone who is a relative or takes from that estate, you sign off acknowledging service of it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets filed in probate court.
Okay.
Once it gets filed in probate court, you have a series of things to do, but at the end of the day, you have a swearing in ceremony where you are sworn in as the executor of the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Similar process with administrating estate, except you become the administrator of the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Same process
Mm-hmm.
almost. Except one is called intestate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Without a will.
Yeah.
Intestate with
With
a
a
will.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got that portion settled.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you have someone? Because you know it's always going to be one out there. Well, I I need to. I don't like how this will is done. So I need to. I don't forget what the proper word is called, but they want to
You want to file what's called
yeah
a caveat.
yeah to the will. And so what happens when that happens? Say you got whoever died, they got several kids. Everybody not on the same page
Right.
with what's in the will. So somebody wants to contest the word contest. They want to contest the will. So how does that work?
You know, some wills that I put together has what's called a no contest clause.
Uh-huh.
If you contest it, you lose your share.
Exactly. Okay.
Other times, I tell people when I'm drafting a will, if you're going to exclude somebody or you want to give a person less than what you're giving the other siblings,
Mm-hmm.
state specifically why.
Okay.
It may be that I've given you more than I've given the others.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you just a no good, low down, good for nothing child. I don't like you.
Oh, damn.
I've seen that in a will, by the way. And I ain't gonna leave you nothing because you're sorry. I've seen that. And I'm leaving you $1. Don't bother me no more. Um, those those are the things you put in there. But now, when you get that point where someone wants to contest it, and there isn't a no contest clause in there, and the will is heavily favored of one group versus another, there are a lot of things we could take into factor. Was this person's last point of death? Blah 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 blah. Were they undue influenced by someone? Et cetera, et cetera. That's when you take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's called filing a caveat. That's a contest to will.
Yeah.
And you have to show that person either lacked testamentary intent or
they have a
some
what?
form lacked testamentary intent. your mind was bad when you
Okay,
did this.
okay,
You
all
didn't know
right.
what you was
Yeah,
doing.
we need layman's terms around here. Okay.
Other than this undue influence, let's say
Yeah.
Pearlie Mae was saying, hey.
Uh,
And then you some of these Pearlie Mae everything. Bye, y'all.
uh,
So those are the things you challenge on
okay.
will on the basis. Or some forgery, wasn't a signature,
Yeah.
not properly witnessed,
Uh-huh.
not properly drafted. In other words,
Okay.
Georgia doesn't allow what we call holographic will. In other words, you see them things online where you write everything you sign off yourself.
Uh-huh.
Uh-uh. Georgia, to have a will, you gotta have some witnesses.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
See, you learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Learned a lot. So, all right. So, once you get the probate, so normally, how long does probate usually take? Because from my understanding, it could take anywhere from maybe 4 or 5 months to a year or more. And when that also adds up, correct?
That's correct.
So,
Shortest estate I've seen 4 to 5 months. And some mistakes now, I know of one is in his 5th year. And I'm gonna tell you why.
uh,
Folk ain't got the money.
huh?
They ain't got the money for filing fees. They ain't got the money for this. And some people say, I ain't signing that paper. They see the paper, they go, I ain't signing this. So now now you got to hire a private process server or the sheriff.
uh,
And they can hire from the sheriff.
uh-huh. Yeah, because they see the sheriff coming and they're like, oh, yeah, tell him I ain't here.
Private processor, I don't want this. And every time you send a private process server, that's $85. That adds up after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So some people just don't have the money to keep paying the lawyers, to keep paying the whatever it costs to serve you.
So what happens at that point then?
At that point, you can file what's called a notice of publication.
Mm.
And that's another fee. That's another motion. That's more money.
More money, more money, more
So that's why I tell folks, get your house in order.
money. Uh-huh.
Have everything set up before you go. And
Uh-huh.
that's why I'm real strong on those deeds.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm real strong on those bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Because that establishes the protocol.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to fight over my cell phone and my glasses and my watch, fight over it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to fight over my clothes, fight over it. You want to fight over my forks and my dishes, have at it.
Uh-huh. But all the pertinent stuff.
Yeah, it's handled. And even with that, you can say, you know what? I'm gifting you this. I know I'm about to leave here.
Mm-hmm.
All that mess over there, yo.
Mm-hmm. But even with that though, it could still
get hairy. She didn't want you to have that fork. That's my favorite fork. That was my fork on Sunday.
Yeah, so look, trust and believe. I've seen that with family, with especially because money and death will change people.
What you talk about?
Tremendously.
Ooh,
You would see
Negro.
sides of people come out
Oh my God.
that you never ever knew, and you could be knowing these people all of your life, and then you look at them, you like, who are you?
Let me tell you. I was doing the probate one time. I was reading the will.
Mm-hmm.
Negro pulled a gun in the middle of reading the will. I said, wait a minute, hold up.
What?
That's mine. I said, whoa. He pulled a gun.
Wow.
He got mad. He pulled a gun. That's years ago. He's dead now. I can tell that story.
Oh,
But that nigga pulled a gun. He was that hot.
he was mad because he didn't get
He didn't
something?
get what he thought he was gonna get. He didn't get the Cadillac Eldorado.
Oh my God.
It was convertible. It was white, red interior. It was the Barrett's or whatever. It had that little stainless steel. He didn't get it. He was mad. Continental wheel in the back. Didn't get it. He was mad.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I've had people cut a fool, in the office. They just lose it. And I'm like, hey, it's not that serious. That's why I said about sharing what's in the will. That way, if you gonna cut me off and you gonna be bothering me, don't be bothering me in life.
Exactly.
Don't come loving on me when I'm dead and when you finally you got what you want. You
want to come the last 6 months.
Yeah, don't do that.
You come around the last 6 months when
Thinking
you think
you got something.
Man, look, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
So, so you mainly handle probate. Is that the majority of your business as far as law? Is
It's about a
probate?
third of it. About
Okay.
a third of the business.
Okay.
Sort of evenly divided is that. It's a criminal practice and auto accidents. That's sort of like 1/3 of the firm, each one.
Okay. Uh-huh.
A lot of DUIs, a lot of auto accidents.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, I remember you helped me with my auto accident that
See that?
that one time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got probate
Yeah.
by accident. Folks
Oh,
just
really?
started dying. Right?
Oh, folks were dying
And
that ain't
then
never died
and,
before,
and then
right?
yeah, he never died before. And then when you the preacher, they go, "Oh, let's go over here to Reb. Let's see what Reb gonna say about it." And I'm like,
Oh my God. They say you can pull double duty. You can do the eulogy and
and probate.
and the probate at the same time.
And,
You give them a 2 for 1.
and I'm like, I can't get you to heaven, but I do the best I can here. So that's what we go through. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so for your practice, tell people how they can get in touch with you if they are ever in need of your probate service or either the criminal or the accident.
You know, I love that commercial. Your favorite attorney. I impale you. I implore you. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna do all that.
Okay.
But the number is 912
Uh-huh.
220 3580.
Okay.
912 220 3580. Call me. I like that commercial. Your favorite attorney.
So you gonna do your commercial, you gonna stand on top of a truck
Stand on top of the truck.
and with the hammer. 'Cause, I mean, there's so many of them out there. That's crazy.
It has changed so much in Savannah.
I mean, it's crazy.
It has changed. And you know, and I had a guy today come by the office, new client, auto accident. He said, "Man, I started to go with the big firms." And I'm going, "Let me tell you about the big firms. They're gonna charge you 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm either 25% or 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes down to it, I'm gonna take less than you all day long. The doctors might get all your money,
Mm-hmm.
but I ain't gonna take more than you."
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that when you go to these big firms, you paying for the advertising.
Exactly.
They're gonna stick you with 40%, and you gonna pay 40%.
Because they're gonna get theirs
They gotta
first.
get theirs. They gotta
Before
pay
they cut your check, they cutting theirs.
exactly.
Yep.
They
But
don't get that.
but I will say I appreciate you for when I had mine. But
Hey, I did the best I can.
you took care of me. But yeah, he took care of me, y'all. Anyway, well, that's about all time we have. I want to thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
for
in.
having me.
I really enjoyed this conversation. So I'm going to have you back sometime soon so we can carry on because I know it's going to be some more events that come up and we're definitely going to have to cover them.
That
So
sounds good to me.
so I appreciate you. And once again, before we go, tell them how they can contact you.
Call me 912 220 3580.
All right.
24/7 that line is on.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've got Pastor Bishop Joseph, Pastor Bishop Attorney Joseph Ervin. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you all for taking the time out to spend a little time with us and join us in our adult conversation. We appreciate you so much. And like I always say, in the words of my dearly departed mom, Geneva C. Boykins, please be good. And if you can't be good, at least be careful. And one more thing, everyone has an opinion. Never be afraid to express yours. I'll see you next time. Smooches.